Well, folks, like I said, I really appreciate everyone being here today. Today's training is really seemingly interesting for many of you. Thomas is over there in the UK. And, as I mentioned to you as you were coming into the room, we had something like, I don't know, 400, 500 questions come in advance of this training today. And we're really going to be focused on your LinkedIn profile, how to attract the right people to you. And that seems like that's something that's of interest to a lot of you. And since you're here live, what I'm going to do when we get there in maybe about 20 or 30 minutes, I'm going to actually ask for a few volunteers so that I can review your profiles live in front of everybody here. So for Facebook, for LinkedIn, for Zoom, wherever you are, get your profile URL ready. I'll show you how to get that if you don't know. But we're going to run through around 15 things that you need to consider. And I see John. John, it's great to see you here from SP Mount. John, I'm thankful that you're here. Thank you so much. One of the things that we're going to cover are some of the most common mistakes that folks make, including one that inadvertently sends people who are looking at you, John and others, Jeffrey, Ulysses over there in LinkedIn. About 90% of you make this mistake. You send folks to your competitors, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. Also, we have a checklist. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. You're going to get this checklist. It's a guide. Some of you may already have this. It's a guide that'll walk you through many of the things that we're talking about today. And it'll give you a section where you can check off the things that you accomplish in getting to where you need to be. So I see Betty saying, I don't have the checklist. No problem. That's why Suzanne is here. We're going to get that out to you all in just a minute. All right. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate everybody being here. We're going to go ahead and get started officially. Like I said, we've got people in Facebook. We have folks in Zoom. We have folks in LinkedIn. Yes, this is live. I'm here with you in person. And let me tell you a little bit about this series. If this is your first time with me here at Mindfire and the team over here, we're in the midst of a series around how to help you market, sell, and lead through this time of crisis. This is a tough time. And so what we're trying to do is bring you the leading edge in omni-channel sales and marketing from people who are doing it. And so we've had a number of sessions already. I'll share a few of those with you in case you missed them. And if you want the links, we can send it to you. But let me answer the question, who is this for, to make sure you're in the right spot. We have a lot of agencies here with us. If you're an agency, drop a yes in the chat. We have a lot of folks in the print community. If you're in the print community, drop the word print wherever you are in chat, Zoom, Facebook, LinkedIn. And we have a number of B2B and B2C organizations that fall outside of the agency and the print market. So all types of organizations. This is targeted at you. And if you're in leadership, if you're in sales, if you're in marketing, if you find yourself in a role where you're trying to help your company grow its presence and create more leads to drive sales, this is for you. As I mentioned, we're in the midst of a series here. We've done a few already. If you've missed any of these, let us know. Just drop the word recordings there in the chat if you want to get one of these sessions. One of the sessions was with Brian Galad, who talked to us about how he has been able to generate leads and sales with LinkedIn. He grew from a few hundred followers to over 200,000 and monetized his journey. So we did an in-depth interview with him. We've also had Mike Robinson from Summit Direct Mail on the show, and he talked about how they've been able to weave omni-channel with print, with direct mail specifically, and how it's helped them grow to over 40 million in revenue. So if you don't have that recording, let us know. We're going to follow up after the event. We'll get that to you. About 2 weeks ago, we did a training on the social selling playbook, the entire playbook around what the 1% are doing to social sell that the other 99% aren't doing. Today's training is a little piece of that. We're going to go kind of deep into one of those aspects, which is your LinkedIn profile. So if you missed that, if you missed any of these, and if you're interested, just drop the word recordings. I see Betty's asking for it. TJ's asking for it. Marty is asking over in LinkedIn. Keep those comments coming, folks, if you want that. All right. Suzanne, who's here, is going to help us follow up after the event and get you everything that you need. So here's what we're doing today. The first thing I want to do with you is walk through the mindset of what needs to change in order for you to understand how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So Yes, there are specific tactics that I'm going to show you, but first, it's the 6-inch issue. It's what I call the 6-inch issue, the space between our ears. We got to fix our mindset. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Second, I'm going to show you the framework. There's 4 parts of the framework, 4 things you need to have work together in order for you to maximize your results. So we're going to walk through that. And then I'm going to show you a few examples of what happens when you do this right. I know a lot of you are coming from a variety of situations. Some of you have never used LinkedIn. Some of you are maybe on LinkedIn, but have serious doubts about its ability to help you. Others of you are finding some success with LinkedIn. Wherever you are in that process, you're going to learn something today that's going to help you get to that next level. All right. And I want to encourage you. I want to shed light on what's possible. So I'm going to show you some examples of what happens when you do this right. And then what everyone's been waiting for, I need a few volunteers. When I get there, I'm going to do a live review of some of your profiles, all right? So that I can give you some live pointers to get you to the next step. Speaking of next steps, I will also do plenty of Q&A. I'll stick around till everyone's question has been answered. And I'll also give you some next step kind of, off-ramps, if you will, where you can take an off-ramp off this freeway that we're on today and get some more information, get some additional help, get some additional resources to get you where you want to be. Speaking of resources, Suzanne, if you can get these fired up for me, a couple things I want to make sure you do. Number 1, please connect with me on LinkedIn. So folks who are over in LinkedIn already, I think we're already connected, but if we're not, please send me a connection request. Suzanne's going to drop my URL into the chat so that you can connect with me. It's really important so you can continue to get this kind of training and education, which 90% of the time we do for free for the community. All right. So if you want to get stuff like this, make sure to connect with me. Second, where are my print people at? I saw a lot of print. If you're not yet part of the COVID-19 print group, this is a group we created for you because we know it's hard to sell right now. And because we have become very good at what we're describing today, we actually get a lot of print leads. We get a lot of people with print jobs, print work that they need fulfilled. And so because we were a bottleneck between the needs and the supply, you print folks, we created this print group a number of months back. Many of you know it. And it's become this community to support one another through this difficult time. So Suzanne's going to give you that link. If you're not a member, please request access. Rob says, I love the print group. Lisa says, I'm already a part of it. Fantastic. If you're not a member, please join, please participate, and please say hello when you get into the group. We want to welcome you. Lastly, and I know this seems strange, but I want you to text me. Got my cell phone right here. Suzanne's going to give you that number. Why? 2 reasons. One is if you have questions and you feel more comfortable texting me now or after the event, you know how to do it. All right. That's the first thing. Second, I mentioned to you the LinkedIn group. And because a lot of you aren't that active on LinkedIn, when we post leads there or when there are leads available, many of you miss them. You'll go hours, days, or sometimes weeks without seeing that there's a lead sitting there for you. Here's one that just came in. Do you know any printers that might be able to handle 20 to 30,000 batch of brochures that include some assembly, right? We don't do print here at Mindfire. We have many print clients, many in the print communities. So what we do is we push those out to you. And so if you want to be added to a text list where I'll notify you here at Mindfire when we get something like this, then text me. All right. Just say, hey, Dave, I'm on the webinar. I'd love to be added to the list. I can see it as it comes in. We'll add you to a list and we'll make sure that you get notifications like that so you don't miss these precious leads. So Suzanne, if you can make sure to drop my cell phone number in there. It looks like Suzanne has dropped it everywhere. Folks, pick me up on that, especially if you're in print, marketing services, or you have something related to the print community. This is a list. This is a group. This is a text message string that you don't want to miss out on. All right. Lastly, I mentioned this to a number of you who were here early, and we're going to jump right in. It might be helpful when we do the profile review today if you have 2 screens, one for Zoom and one for your LinkedIn profile. So if you need a few minutes to get that ready, or if maybe you need to go grab another device like an iPad, sometimes people go run and get an iPad, do that. As in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I'm going to bring us to a point where I'm going to be reviewing your stuff live. And it might be helpful for you to see what I'm training you on the screen along with your profile. All right. So that might be useful. And one more thing, a little bribe to keep you to the end. Some of you know Joanne Gore. She's in our community. She's passionate about print, marketing, helping companies generate awareness, engagement, and growth. And she and her organization, they've created this case study that they basically took that Brian Galat interview that I showed you, the live interview that we did in this series. They tore it apart, broke it down, and created a really incredible case study around how he's been able to use LinkedIn and create over 6 figures of revenue. Break that interview down, give you very actionable steps. So if you want that, stay to the end, and we'll make sure that everybody who's here at the end gets this work. And Joanne is an incredible resource. I think she might actually be here with us today. If you don't know her, Suzanne, if you can, take Joanne's LinkedIn profile there, throw it into the chat for everyone. I want to make sure they connect with her. She's another social selling advocate, evangelist, and someone you definitely all want to know. Thank you, Suzanne, for doing that. All right, is everyone ready? Give me a yes in the chat. If you're in Facebook, if you're in Zoom, if you're in LinkedIn, drop a yes in the chat. Let's get this going. Let me get a drink of water. I see somebody over here in text saying, I thought this was taped. No, this is live, my friend. What I was telling you. All right, let's start. I always like to begin this journey with talking about mindset. And I really think it's important to understand the mindset, the 6 inch issue that I talk about, because it starts with a change up here before you can effectively carry out the strategies and the tactics that I'm talking to you about, okay? So the mind shift that I'm teaching you today, which applies to social selling in this omni-channel social selling framework, not only does it apply to social, but it also applies to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to email, to your landing pages. This kind of thinking should permeate everything that you're doing when you engage your audience. But it requires you to look at the communication that you're doing, to look at what you're putting out there in a different way. Well, for some people, it's different. For some of you, this is completely foreign. For others of you, this is something that you're probably right at home with. Let me cut right to the chase. Here's what I mean. This philosophy, the crucial underpinning here is that in your communication, and we're talking about LinkedIn today, so I'm going to bring it into LinkedIn. Your posts on LinkedIn, your profile on LinkedIn must give away value. You must be giving value to your audience. And the best way to think about that is you literally have to be thinking about giving out $100 bills to your audience. And I know that sounds a little strange. I'm going to talk to you more about what I mean there. The mindset of in your marketing, in your communication, in your use of LinkedIn, of giving. And then when you think you can't give anymore, give again. And I know that that's new for many of you, especially in a world where when you think about social, most people do what? Well, most people just consume, okay? I'm going to show you the data around that. But most people just talk about themselves. Most people, like those that you see here on the screen, just talk about themselves. This gentleman over here might be on Instagram. Maybe he's on LinkedIn. She might be on Facebook. He might be over on Twitter, right? And most of them, like I said, if they dare to publish content, are talking about themselves. But the vast majority of people just sit there consuming. So the mind shift here, you need to produce valuable content. Produce, okay? You can't just consume. You need to think of yourself now as a producer of content. And the reason why this is so important, 99%, actually more than 99% on LinkedIn, 99% of the users just consume the content. 1%, less than 1%, are putting content out there. And I'm going to demonstrate for you why this is so important. Once you understand this mindset, move yourself over to the 1%, publish and create value. That is a strategic advantage to help you sell more of whatever it is that you want to get into the hands of your customers and prospects. This becomes a strategic advantage. Now, I know for some of you, I know because I talked to many of you. You're thinking, okay, look, I'm on LinkedIn, but it hasn't done anything for me before. I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm deathly petrified that my competitors are going to steal my clients. My clients aren't on LinkedIn, so why should I go on LinkedIn? If any of those things resonate with you, I know that feeling. I understand what you're saying. But let me give you a little example. Since many of you are here in the direct mail print space, imagine if you did a direct mail campaign for a client, and let's say the call to action on it was a phone number, right? And you send it out, let's say 50,000 pieces, and your client gets back to you and says, look, nobody's calling. You would immediately know what the problem is, right? You would say, it's the telephone company. Telephone company's not working. Telephone's broken. No. I hazard to say that none of you would say it's the telephone that's broken, right? Something else is not working. You can't blame the device or the platform when it's not producing the results that you're looking for. That would be silly. But that's what a lot of people do with LinkedIn. They say it doesn't work. They blame LinkedIn. My friends, you know now because you're here with me, it's not LinkedIn, it's you. And because LinkedIn doesn't come with a user manual, you need to understand the process and the mindset behind it, which is what I've just described to you. So that's the first piece is you have to understand, you have to change up here. The idea of providing value, producing content as opposed to just consuming it. Okay? Everyone following along so far, give me a yes in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and over in Zoom. If you're following along, give me a yes. I see the yeses coming in. Okay, keep the yeses coming. And I am going to answer questions. I see questions coming in. What's happening is Suzanne is going to curate those questions for me, and I can see them over here on my right-hand side. So when we get to Q&A, I will definitely answer that. Natalie says, that was profound. It's not the device. Yes, right, Natalie? That makes a shift for some people. That's big. All right, so here's the framework. There's 4 things that need to work together here, okay? And if you're a LinkedIn expert, if you're a LinkedIn novice, or if you've never used LinkedIn, there's something here for all of you, okay? There's 4 things that must work together with respect to your use of LinkedIn. Number 1 is your profile. That's what allows you to establish your brand, your personal brand on LinkedIn. Number 2 is your publishing of content. And this is key because you need to be seen as a thought leader by giving away this value that we've talked about in the posts that you do. Okay, now there's a little secret here that I'm gonna turn you on to. Some of you I know are afraid to post, right? Who are the people that are afraid to post? Give me a 1 in the chat if you're afraid to post. There's actually a little secret that makes it significantly easier without you having to post that'll still get you some of that value. Yeah, I see the ones coming in. I understand. I know that feeling. The third thing you need to do is you need to connect with people. And there's a very specific way to connect with people in your target market. Man, I see a lot of ones coming in. Don't worry, folks. I'll show you something here. And fourth, you must engage. So many of us, I see, say LinkedIn isn't working, right? And when I go and I look, they don't have their profile set up. They're not publishing any content. They're not reaching out to people in their target market. And they're not engaging. It's called social media, right? These 4 things are the 4 things you need to do. We're going to focus today on your profile. The reason for that, if you're taking notes, 50% of buyers avoid you when you have an incomplete profile. I'll repeat that one more time. 50% of buyers are going to avoid you, will avoid you, are avoiding you right now because you have an incomplete profile. So you could be losing half of your potential prospects right there. Probably 80% of you right now are sending your competitors traffic. Okay, so when you say LinkedIn doesn't work, well, maybe you just haven't set it up correctly. Close to 50% of people, I think it's 49% of buyers research you on LinkedIn before making a decision as to who to contact. So you got to have this part of it right here. Let me get my my little pen here. You got to get this part dialed in, and that's where we're going to be starting today, okay, is in your profile. So let me answer a question here. I know that I talk a lot about LinkedIn being an optimal channel right now, right? What I am telling all of you is that at this point in time, LinkedIn is providing an enormous amount of free traffic, free engagement, free eyeballs. And if you're wondering, why are they doing that? Are they just a bunch of nice people over there thinking, hey, we want to give Fred, Nia, Chuck, Anthony, Jason, Natalie over on LinkedIn, we want to just bless them with a bunch of free traffic? Not exactly. Let me tell you what's going on here. It has to do with this idea of a content-saturated platform versus a content-deficient platform. I learned this from my friend Taylor Parker, who used to work over at LinkedIn. And this is a concept that I think once you understand this, you'll start to see your opportunity differently. There are platforms. I'm going to start with content-saturated platform, okay? There are platforms, social networks, that have more content than users viewing that content. The scale is weighted to a lot more content than viewers. It's basic supply and demand, right? So this creates a surplus of content. The platform serves your content to only a portion of your followers, people that you're connected to, because there's just so much stuff. This means that it isn't necessarily easy to get in front of the customers, the leads, the prospects that you want to be in front of. So if you're wondering, like, what's a good example of this? Facebook is in this phase right now. Instagram is here. There's a lot of content, right? There's more content than viewers. I see Natalie saying, is this for personal brand building or for entrepreneurs only? Both, Natalie. The concepts I'm teaching you here are going to apply regardless of the situation. Anybody who has a product, a service, a message that they need to get out needs to understand this concept. In contrast to that, there are content deficient platforms. Platforms where there's more viewers than content. Platforms where there's more people than content being produced. Now, there's not a lot of these, but they're very important to you. As an omni-channel marketer and sales professional, this is what you have to understand. You have to reverse engineer, where is the attention now and where is there not a lot of content so that you have a leg up. An example of that, LinkedIn. That's why we're talking about today. Another example, TikTok. Incredible for organic reach, okay? So without going into, you don't need to learn all of the intricacies of the algorithm. If you can, out of today, understand this idea that LinkedIn is a content deficient platform. It's hungry for your content, men and women. John, Fred, Chuck, Anthony, Ryan, Shelly, Dirk. Because what happens is, think about this. Let's say I'm connected with Chuck, who's here, right? So if Chuck likes one of my posts on LinkedIn, and let's say Chuck has 5,000 connections, it potentially gets shared, meaning all 5,000 of his connections might see my content. Multiply that by 10, 20, 50 likes, and you can see how the organic reach mushrooms. It's not always going to be like that. That's why I'm trying to convince you to get in now, right? That's why when I tell you that less than 1% of people are producing content right now, that's why this is such an incredible example. All right, so let me tell you what happens when you do this right. When you do all of these things right together, okay? Let me give you a few examples. Look at the screen. I'm just going to give you a few real life examples of what happens when you do this right. First of all, here is Rachel, okay? She attended the masterclass that we did 2 weeks ago. And she started right away. That's not too common, but I hope many of you do the same, okay? And look what happened. She said, I've been calling on a design firm. I haven't done any work with them yet, who recently did a post, meaning the firm, somebody there posted something, showcasing some great political posters they designed. I commented on it and just got an RFQ. Where are my friends that said they're afraid to post, to create new content? I know that many of you said that you're in that boat. One of the secrets here is only 10% of people on LinkedIn will drop a comment. Remember, less than 1% will do a post. So the next group over, it's still a very small number, actually have the guts to drop a comment. When you drop a comment, a well-written, well-crafted comment, and the way I'm teaching you here, this is what happens. This is what can happen. Rachel says, I commented on it and I just got an RFQ. So for those of you who are working your way up to producing content and posting, don't think that you always have to just do a post. Start with dropping meaningful, insightful, value-laden comments on people in your industry, potential customers, clients, vendors, folks in your sphere of influence, and things can happen. Does this make sense, everyone? Give me a yes in LinkedIn, in Zoom, in Facebook if you understand what I just said. Give me a yes. I want to make sure you're understanding this. Okay, keep it coming. I want to make sure we're dialed in here. No problem, Joanne. I can't see your comment. It just flew off the screen because so many yeses are coming in. I see somebody saying, Shelly says, your Mindfire classes have helped me get the courage to comment more. Now I have more followers. Shelly, fantastic. That's what we're trying to do here for you. So publishing content that can be posts or even well-written comments. The point I'm trying to make here, when you have the right profile, gets you results. Here's somebody else, okay? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. I think it's Chavi or Chavi. I'm horrible with names. She says, I'm so excited. I have a call tomorrow with the kind of potential client that I've dreamed about for years, but was sure I'd never have a chance at it. Pray for me. And any tips for acing the call with the high-profile company is also appreciated, right? And so I abide by the playbook that I'm teaching you here. Of course, I dropped a comment, right? And my question to her was, congrats. How did you land the call? Do you know anyone in the company? How well have you studied this person and their company, right? It's just engaging, social media after all, right? Look what she says though. Surprisingly enough, she's surprised. An executive from the company reached out after I commented on his LinkedIn post. You see this? Is everyone getting this? I want to make sure you're seeing the power of that. Now here's Joanne, who I think had to drop off. Another example here. This works. This framework works for companies that are selling a wide variety of products and services, okay? Don't take yourself out of the running because you think, oh, well, I don't sell X or I don't sell Y. I'm not like so-and-so. Matthew over here is saying, I'm having 2 to 3 calls with prospects a week for my LinkedIn activity, and it's winning me business. That's Matthew Parker. He's a mover and shaker in the LinkedIn community. Suzanne, if you don't mind, go grab Matthew's URL. I think everyone should take a look at what he's doing as well. He's doing some fantastic things. So Suzanne, grab his URL. That's Matthew Parker. Share that with everyone. If you look at what Joanne is saying here, this is all from LinkedIn. I sent out 4 proposals last week and booked 3 great meetings this week. I'm way more confident in front of a camera. Well, I pretend to be, paying attention and branching into new groups and new channels. Basically, ignoring the perfectionist procrastinator in me and just trying stuff out and not overthinking it. I must admit, I still fight the whole self-serving narcissist stigma that comes along with self-promotion. Any tips there? I know that this stuff feels awkward, folks. I know that it's hard to put yourself out there, to show your face, to go on video like we're doing right now. But the opportunity is huge. One more. This is actually a personal example. Sometimes, and yes, the screen is white intentionally, don't worry. Sometimes you don't think anyone's listening. You'll write something, you'll do a fantastic job, what you think is a great job writing a post, you put it out there and no one responds. That happened to anyone? Drop me a yes if that's ever happened to you. Sometimes you don't get any engagement, meaning you post, you see some views, but nobody's engaging. Give me an X if that's ever happened to you. And it can feel frustrating, right? You think maybe the algorithm's changed, or maybe I'm doing it wrong, or nobody cares. But don't give up. Even when you think no one's listening, they are. Even if people don't engage with your content, meaning they're not actively hitting likes, they see it. Being consistent is the key. Check this out. I get a text message, this is a couple of weeks back. Dave, I think I'd like to employ your services. How many of us love getting texts like that, emails like that, right? I know it happens for some of you. This happens fairly often when you start to do this right. Vishal, I see you're here. Thank you. Dave, I think I'd like to employ your services. I say, that's fantastic. What service specifically are you talking about? And I'll cut to the chase. Through a series of text messages, emails, and a couple of phone calls, this was a $155,000 deal. I don't know how big $155,000 seems to you. If that's small, that's medium, that's large. How many of you would like to have deals that size? But look what he says. This is really what I want you to know. It's funny how life works. I talked to you 3 years ago when comparing Mindfire to another company. You always kept in touch. That's the sensation that he had through this process that I'm teaching you. I basically hate everyone. But you're a real good dude. You built trust with me as I saw you grow and develop. Your random acts of kindness, this is the value that I'm talking about, folks, is why we went with you without even discussing price. You are your brand. People don't understand that. We didn't even question price because you had my trust and therefore my partner's trust as well. Are you getting this? Does this make sense, everyone? I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to show off. I'm trying to encourage you. I'm trying to show you real life examples so that you aren't like these people here on the screen. Instead of being these people, look at this here. I found this actually earlier today. And if you're on LinkedIn, a lot of these will resonate, right? I'm sure you're getting bombarded, or you might be getting a few LinkedIn requests like this, right? You get I've noticed we have blue shirts in common. Hey, let's connect. Or do you have a few minutes to talk with a total stranger, right? The brain picker, somebody who says, I just want to pick your brain. I run a team that can help whatever it is that you do. You get the lead generator who's constantly reaching out. You get the guy that's spraying and praying. I'm so busy networking, I don't have time to write a note. Then you get the sneak attack. If you accept, I'll thank you with a nonstop sales pitch. You don't want to be these people. I've seen so many of you say in your questions coming into class, how do I not be this person, right? How can I do it where the interest is coming to me, where it's coming to you? Well, that's what I'm showing you. All right. I'm going to jump into the very specific tactics now. All right. Right where we want to be, 30 minutes in. But before I get into the tactics, and this is where you should have 2 screens up to get ready here. I want you to tell me something here. Who had what I call an aha moment as we were going through this first portion here? Something in the strategy and the thought process and the mindset and the philosophy that unlocks something for you. And I want you to tell me what that was in the chat. What was that moment where suddenly something connected for you that you hadn't realized before? Bob says to give value. So Bob's over there in Zoom. Anthony says, yes, make more comments. Rob says, for me, comments are as important as posts. You know, Rob, one thing that's interesting is if you develop a good comment, that can actually be a signal to you as what might make a good post. So if you do a good comment, gets engagement, people conversing and liking it, that's often a signal for you that you've got something that might be good as a post. Candy says the stats of posting and engaging. Michael says engage with more people. Ann says continue to build the relationship. Jeff says post exciting messages. Lisa says find a way to differentiate myself from competitors. Comments are unique to your views. Rajneesh says 99% and the 1% stats. I will be the 1% soon. Yes, you will be. Ryan says good comments equals good posts is the idea that I can't wait to try. Natasha is asking, is it okay to reuse content? Yes, Natasha, some very specific ways. We can talk about that. John says, I'll post more comments. Fantastic. Natalie over in LinkedIn saying, it's not the fault of the device. I came in late, so I missed some of the other things, and I need to comment more. So that's what stands out for Natalie. Natalie, that's fantastic. Don't worry about coming in late. Thank you for being here. Tamara saying, interesting comments on posts. We post daily, but looking to turn them into orders. Yeah. So it sounds like you have a piece of it, Tamara, but if it's not clicking yet, think back to that 4-piece strategy that I show you. All 4 of those need to be firing in order for this to start to gain some momentum. Tim says, content. Good. All right. Well, like I said, if you have the ability to have Zoom and LinkedIn up on 2 screens, that would be good right now. We're going to go through now and dive into your LinkedIn profile, which is kind of like your home base on LinkedIn. That's why this is so important. And I want to give you a way to position yourself such that you're magnetic. to your target market. I'm going to show you where to adjust things using real life examples. And I'm going to use some of you who are the brave volunteers to show you the things that you need to do. Now, Suzanne is going to send this out later. This is a checklist and a guide that we have. Suze, just hold this. I don't want people to get distracted. But everything I'm covering, folks, you don't have to worry if you're trying to furiously take notes. It's all covered in the guide. Okay, we're gonna get that out to you. So just watch the screen for right now. So we're going to go through everything that's in that guide, but I'm going to show you some additional things. This is being recorded, so if you need to go back and refer to it, you can. Why is this so important? Well, I'll personalize it. For me, I used to think that LinkedIn was just a resume, a CV online. If you think that, or if maybe you thought that in the past, you're like me, that was a big mistake. It's changed. It's become so much more. It's now your brand. It's your selling brand online. And people, potential customers, potential employees, partners, are judging you based on your profile. 49% of buyers research a sales rep, sales professional like you on LinkedIn. 50%, I mentioned this stat earlier, avoid you when you have an incomplete profile. What's an incomplete profile? Look at the screen. Let's call this one A. Let's call this one B. If just given the choice, who would you engage with? A or B? So here's A, Veronica version A. Here's Veronica version B. I see all the B's coming in, right? I mean, this one you can tell is a real person. It's got a picture. It's got something up here. They have, some text right here. They've got an image here. You can tell something is alive and kicking over here, right? Over here, there's no picture. There's no cover image. There's no logo here of the company. This one, for all you know, could be a bot, right? So when I say an incomplete profile, that's what I'm talking about. It's an impression that you give, and it's a strong impression. 92% of B2B buyers will engage with sellers who are known as thought leaders. And the way you can do this, in part, is through your profile. Now, the big mistake that most people are making right now on their profile, this is another mind shift, okay, is you need to go from writing a profile that's me, I'm so awesome, to here's how I can help businesses, people, situations just like yours. And here are the outcomes I deliver for you. And of course, I'm awesome. But I'm awesome so I can serve you. You see the difference there? Most people, I was in that boat, are in the boat of tooting their own horn. Now, if you're looking for a job, it might be a little different here. I'm talking specifically to those who want to build a brand, entrepreneurs, business owners, salespeople, marketers, organizations that need to reach their customers and prospects, okay? And for most, in your personal profile, most are doing this, me, and not thinking about how do I position my profile in a way that serves my market. Does that make sense to everyone? Give me a 1 if you just had a light bulb go off there. Give me a 1. I hazard to guess that most of you have a profile that's somewhere between 1 and 2, more leaning towards 1, okay? Now, when I say having a complete profile, there's a lot of different things, okay? If you look at the screen here, I've articulated these little boxes here so you know some of the things that we're going to be going through. Larry is giving me a bunch of exclamation marks. Alan says, I recently shifted to 2, but I see more than 2. I see 1, just a bunch of 1s pouring in. So when you think about moving to 2, here are the things, here are the areas that applies to, okay? And if you're not familiar with them, I'm going to walk through some of these more in a second here and with a little bit of detail, but then I just want to jump right into looking at your profiles and showing you those things, okay? The first thing is, and you don't have to write this down, you'll get the slides after, but make sure your profile is easy to find. When I say profile, let me go back one slide. I'm talking about this. This is mine here, right? You all have one, or you should have one. Make sure it's easy to find. Some people actually have it turned off. They're hesitant. They're private. I'm not passing any judgment, but I want to encourage you. If what you need are leads and sales and attention, open up that profile. You can keep your Facebook, your Instagram private, if that's for friends and family. But I humbly submit to you that if you want to drive leads and grow sales and get people to coming to you, open up your profile, make it easy to find. Make sure that you've set it up this way. Again, you can go back and look through the slides. Make sure you've configured your profile so that it is open. You have a lot of settings there that you can fine tune to meet your personal level of comfort, okay? For me, for the students that we teach, for those who are really going at it with social selling, I encourage them to share as much as they're comfortable with. Why is that? Because people buy from people. That's why I encourage it. The other thing you want to make sure you do is have a headshot. 65% of B2B buyers say an informative LinkedIn profile is an important factor in deciding with whether or not they're going to engage with you. And that picture, your headshot, that's this thing right here, makes a difference. If you're sending messages to people and you have an unprofessional headshot or no headshot at all, your chances of getting a reply are significantly diminished. So if you're sending LinkedIn messages and you're not getting replies, one thing to check would be your profile picture. All right, so you want to make sure you have your profile picture dialed in. Bunch of tips here for you. You'll get the slide deck after. Go through and check these off. Make sure that you follow the guidelines. Again, these aren't necessarily immutable truths, right? Be creative, be yourself. But here are some suggestions if what you're doing right now is not working for you. The other thing to consider is what we call the cover image. Can you all see this up here? It's this image right here. Most of you, and we'll see this here in just a second, have a generic cover image. You should take the opportunity to update that image to something that's related to your customer, to what you can do for them, to your target market, something that adds some gravitas to who you are. If you've presented on stage, if you've met somebody famous, if you, for those of you who are in the print space, people love seeing your presses, you standing in front of a press, you standing in front of your building. If you're in real estate, you talking to a customer, there's so many things that you can do in order to build your credibility and establish your brand right here. I see Natalie saying, how can we access this presentation after this live? It'll be on LinkedIn, same place you're at right now, Natalie, but also drop Suzanne a message. Suze, if you can follow up with everyone there in LinkedIn, we'll get you on the email list and make sure you get the presentation. Same for everybody. You can all get this. So there's a couple of other key areas. I'm going to talk to you about all of these. And again, they're all on the guide. What we call your headline is super important. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Your headline, most people use that to put their job title. President at Mindfire. Cool. I'm so proud of me. What does my market care about that? They're interested in what you can do for them. And so when you recraft your headline with this strategy in mind, it becomes an opportunity to create almost a billboard that follows you around as you're engaging on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you that. You want to write a summary about yourself that's focused on your ideal user. I'm going to show you that as well. And there's a number of things here like adding rich media to your profile, adding skills to your profile, getting recommendations from people. All of these things I'll show you as we drop into your profiles here, okay? But these are all things you need to do. They're all covered in great detail here in the guide, and I'm going to be showing you those here on the screen, okay? So again, the whole point of this is we're trying to go from this, whoops, where's my pen? We're trying to go from this to this, okay? So Suze, hold on that URL. I know you were going to drop that into the chat. Let's hold on that for a second until we get to the Q&A, okay? Let's not distract anybody. Hold on sending them that guide. We'll do that here in a minute. So what I want to do now is I want to get some brave volunteers. Drop in your profile URL. Okay, they're coming in. I see Tim, Candy, Mark. Keep them coming. I'm going to get these up here on the screen. I'm not going to be able to do all of them, but I want to do a good number here, okay? So I'm going to just click on the ones I see coming in. Wow, we got a lot coming here. I remember, Suzanne, I told you there was going to be no shortage of LinkedIn accounts. All right. I see folks over there in LinkedIn doing the same. Facebook, if you're over on Facebook, please let me know. drop your URL there into the chat. Yes, I see it, Suzanne. I got Wendy. I got Mark. All right, we got a lot coming in here. Okay, I'm going to pull these up on the screen. They're probably going to take a few minutes to load, or not a few minutes, a few seconds to load. And then we're going to dive into a few of them here. Thank you, folks, for sending those in. Wow, we got a lot of brave people here today. Fantastic. All right. So as those are coming up, I'm just going to walk through those key crucial points, okay? And I want to make sure that if you're taking notes or if you're following along in your profile, that you ask questions as they come up, okay? And what I'm trying to do here is for about 20 minutes, walk through these and then pause to answer all those questions, okay? And give you some specific next steps that you can take if you want to continue on in this journey here. So let me do this for about the next 15 to 20 minutes and keep those questions coming in. So here I have Michelle on the screen, okay? I'm going to pull up a few others. Let's see who we have. We have Sean, Shelly, Rick. Iran, is that how you pronounce it, Iran? I got you from, I think I got you from LinkedIn. I'm going to close this for a second. We've got Mark here. Okay, I'm going to go through a few of these, all right? I'm just going to randomly pick a few different ones here. So the first thing I want to call your attention to, if you look at the screen here for Mark. Mark, thank you for sending yours in. Yeah, my RAM is screaming, Alessio, you're right. If you look at these here, he's got a cover image, okay? Now, I saw a second ago, somebody I had on the screen did not. And let me see if I can find that one here. Yes, Michelle. Michelle, are you here? So Michelle, if you look at yours and you compare yours to Michelle, she doesn't have a cover image. This is the generic cover image. It might look a little bit different depending on which UI version you have from LinkedIn. They're in the midst of rolling out a UI update, a user interface update. So if you have something that looks like this or kind of bluish with some boxes on it, that's the generic cover image. What I suggest you do is take that opportunity to use that to communicate to your intended target audience, okay? Something that shows them that you've invested in building out your profile here on LinkedIn. Again, remember those two examples, the two Veronicas, A and B, right? Once you know a little bit more about LinkedIn, if you come across somebody who hasn't customized their profile versus someone who has, who are you most likely to engage? That's the thought process you have to have here. Chuck is saying, can the cover photo be a movie? No, not currently, Chuck. Not right there, but I'll show you where you can. So for many of you, let's look at a few others here. Whoops, I've got my pen here. You're welcome, Chuck. Okay, so David has a cover image. Did I get David twice? Oh, another David. He's got a cover image. Sean's got a cover image. Hey, Sean, I didn't know you were here. Awesome. Shelly. Okay, Shelly, if you're here, if you're still watching, Shelly, you don't have a cover image, so I would recommend highly that you consider that. Rick has one. Good job, Rick. Iran has one. Very interesting shot there. So that would be the first thing. And if you're wondering, how do you edit your cover image? Again, that's in the guide. It's very easy to do. You find an image or you create an image and you upload it and place it here. Okay, so a few of you need to work on that. Let me pull up a couple of others over here. I think Mark wanted me to get his. Let me open up a new window here with Mark, and then maybe one from Wendy over here. Let me bring up Wendy. Okay, so when you pull these up here, your eye is going to become more in tune with many of these things that I'm talking about here. So let's see. Everyone look at Mark here. Give it a second to load. So what do you see about Mark? Mark has a image here. We provide marketing, printing, and fulfillment with time-tested and proven controls. Okay, so at least it's talking a bit about what he can do. Mark, I would recommend a photo of yourself here as opposed to your logo. I would recommend experimenting with that headshot idea that we talked about, okay? Let's see, Wendy, what does Wendy have? So Wendy has some sort of image here. Wendy, I think this is germane to your business, right? Would your ideal customer recognize this? Would they understand what this is all about? She's got a professional headshot. Okay, that's good. So those are the first two things that I want you to look at. First of all, the cover image and the headshot. Okay, any questions about those? We're gonna start to move down into this area here. Any questions about these two? So Wendy says probably not. Yeah. So Wendy, I would take the opportunity. Like, Wendy, have you done any speaking on stage? Have you presented at a conference? Do you have any shots of solutions that you've created for your client that they would immediately kind of identify with when they see your profile, Wendy? If you do, that might be something you should test. Okay. Michael, you wanted me to review yours. Yeah, Michael, give me your URL again. Before I run out of RAM here. Okay, let me show you the next thing here. Okay, I saw Kim threw hers in. A lot of them are coming in. All right, let me grab Michael. I promised Michael yesterday that I would review his, so let me just grab his. He's special, everyone. Okay, Michael, there we go. So let's see, Michael's is coming up here on the screen, the big reveal. And we see that Michael has a headshot and Alliance. So the company name is here. It catches the eye, and he's got the professional headshot. So from the perspective of the first two things that I've shown you, I would say he's getting in line. He's getting it done. Let me show you the next here. If you look at the screen, this is what's called the headline. Okay, you see that spot right there? If you pull up your profile, look at that spot. What most people do is similar to what Mark has done. Let me see what Phil has done. Okay, Phil, got it. Yeah, so Mark and Michelle, it's pretty common, right? And I used to do this too, where you put your title, okay? Now, what I would suggest to you is if you're going to run the social selling playbook, you're dropping comments, you're engaging, you're being helpful, you're providing value, you're talking about the outcomes that you deliver for your target market. Whenever you do that, listen carefully here. Whenever you do that, you drop a comment, LinkedIn shows your face, your name, and this headline here. So consider, instead of putting your title, do something like what Phil does. Okay, think of it as a billboard, a banner. Every time you comment, every time you engage, somebody's going to see this. Okay, so this is what we teach our members to do, like what Phil's done. We help businesses get more customers. Okay, so if I'm a business owner, or if I'm in sales, or I'm in marketing, and I see Phil leave a very thoughtful comment about how to generate leads in this tough time, and I say, it's interesting, I wonder what he does. Oh, he helps businesses get more customers. I will actually see this line in his comments as he's engaging, okay? Whereas if I go to Mark, and Mark, this may be what you want to be known for, but as a technology evangelist, what can you do for me? What can you do for the intended target audience, right? That's what I want to show you how to do here, is rethink your headline, which is right here. Rethink that and put that in the perspective of your target market. Does that make sense, everyone? Give me a yes if you're understanding that. We actually have a template inside this guide, which Suzanne will share the link with you shortly, that gives you kind of a template for how you could write this, okay? Let me look at a few others here. Yeah, I see Betty saying yes. Let me turn off my pen. Let me look at a few others of you here. So this says inbound marketing, marketing plans and execution, content and social marketing. So David, yeah, interesting. So at least it tells me, which is good, what you can do. You're doing inbound marketing, marketing plans and execution. Okay, I understand that. Here, David is saying, I help business owners and entrepreneurs connect, energize and grow their business to exceed personal and professional goals. I understand. If I'm in his target market, and I'm a business owner, an entrepreneur, and I want to energize and grow my business, I know that he's someone I may want to take a look at. Sean stops, collaborates, listens. I get that. humor. I love that. I understand that. Sean, is that working for you? If not, maybe push this a little further down. And before that, preceding that, identify how you can help and who you can help. Just a thought, Sean. Shelly, business development coordinator at Adams Engineers and Equipment. Okay, so Shelly, good picture. But Shelly, if you're going to run the social playbook and you're going to start leaving comments and engaging, and you want to catch the eye of somebody who needs, I think they might, what do they need from you? Additive manufacturing? Talk about what you can do, the outcomes that your company delivers for them. Let's take a look at a few more here. Okay, Rick. Rick, I was in the same spot as you, right? President and creative director at Norris Creative. So I think I had Dave Rosendahl, president, co-founder at Mindfire, right? Now, obviously, if we're somebody like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, if Steve Jobs were still on LinkedIn, or Larry Page or something, and we put CEO of Google, CEO of Apple, president of Apple, people would know, right? But for the vast majority of us, when we see something like this, we're not exactly sure how it helps us as the viewer. And again, I humbly submit to you, consider, Rick, rephrasing that, and almost looks like you have a little bit of it here, delivering the marketing results you need now, right? Try to call attention to who you can help and how you can help them. Is there a set number of viewable words from your profile that appear in the comments? Yes. It's a little bit different. Who asked that question? Mark. It's a little bit different on your mobile device from the desktop. So I do encourage you, as you're rewriting that, look at it in both. That's a great question from Mark. You're not going to see everything. So look at it on your cell phone, look at it on your laptop, and you'll be able to kind of judge whether or not you're getting the most crucial things out to your audience. All right, I'm going to keep going here. I'm actually going to use Rick's example here. So if you want to generate leads and grow sales, you need people to get in touch with you. One way is through the message functionality here. The other is here in your contact info. Let me see what you have here, Rick. Okay, Rick's got it going on here. So Rick's got his phone number. He's got an email address. That's good. Let me come over here to, not to Phil, to Michelle. So Michelle, pulling you back up on the screen here. Okay, so Michelle's got her birthday. Oh, she's close to mine. I'm March 22nd. She's got her website and her profile. So Michelle, if you're in sales, if you're in business development, you want people to engage with you, to reach out. Put your cell phone number, put your WhatsApp number, put your website, put your email. Give people other ways to get in touch with you beyond simply just sending you a message here. Does that make sense, Michelle? So I want you all to go check your contact info. Check what you have here. We have the recommendation here in the guide. Let me just flip to it real quick. We recommend at least your company website URL, a blog URL, your phone number, your address, your email address, and your birthday. Why your birthday? LinkedIn gives you free advertising on your birthday. Doesn't give the year, so you don't have to worry about folks knowing how old you are. But at least you get some free advertising. Your network will know, Michelle, a couple days after my birthday, it'll notify me that it's Michelle's birthday, right? That's cool. Get in front of your audience for free. So Michelle, I'd suggest, and all of you, look there. And then also, I suspect, actually, yeah, you don't have that section. Let me check Mark real quick here. Mark's got his cell phone. Okay, his email, good. His instant message on Skype, his birthday. Okay, good. Now, the other place people look for your contact info is here. Yes, Stephen, same with the work anniversary. I suggest you use that as well. Absolutely. So look, Mark and others, when folks read your about, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment, many will look for contact information at the end of this section. You'll often get emails or text messages or phone calls from people who have read this portion of your LinkedIn profile. So let me see. I think Phil probably has his, because I know Phil's been through this material. Yeah, so see how Phil has his website and he's got his phone number there. Let's see what Michelle has. Michelle doesn't even have that section turned on. So Michelle, that would be something to start to look at. Let's see what David has here. David's got a description, but no contact info there. So I would suggest, folks, that you consider in your about section here adding your contact info. Okay. Now, let me talk about this portion here. So this is another area where most people, unless you're looking for a job, let me put that aside for a moment. Most people need brand awareness, leads generated, and sales opportunities. Most people in this section here talk about themselves. You certainly can, but reframe it to show the value that you deliver your ideal audience. You've heard me say that a number of times today, right? So take the opportunity here. You've got a lot of real estate. You've got a lot of space there. Rewrite it. Be creative. Let your personality shine through. Be more than just another profile on LinkedIn. Interject your humor if you're humorous. Interject a story if you have something that relates to what you can do for your customers. Put some outcomes. Go look at mine. You can copy my format if you want mine. That's fine. But use the opportunity here to talk about who you can help, how you help them, the outcomes you deliver for them, and give them a way to get in touch with you. All right. Again, more details in the guide, but that's what I would suggest there. Does that all make sense to everybody? Give me a yes if you're following along there. Let me pull up a few others and see what we have here. Michael he says, my name is Michael. I have a proven background with remarkable. Okay, so I don't have time to read yours right now, Michael, but I would just ask, have you positioned this to speak to your ideal audience and the outcomes you deliver for them? I don't have Michael's contact info here. Again, Michael, if we want leads, we want sales, we want people to easily be able to reach out to us. Let me see what we have here in the contact info. Okay, we have website, phone number, email. Okay. Betty is saying, yes, I fall incredibly short. Time to make note of all my flaws. No, don't worry, Betty. That's what we're here for. We're going to help you. Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. So folks, these are the first set of things that I want to make sure you're aware of. I'm going to come back and jump back into LinkedIn more, but I want to make sure you get a couple of resources. I know that we're coming up here. Are we close to the hour? Yes, we're coming up close to the hour. I'm going to jump back into LinkedIn here in just a second, but let me bring a couple of resources here on the screen for you, okay? So first, Suze, if you can get that profile guide, go ahead and put that in the chat right now for everybody. That's this one, Suzanne. You have the link, I think, from earlier slides. Put that in the chat on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Zoom, because this guide that you'll have access to here, if you want to go download it, is going to give you all of the things you need to know about crafting your profile, okay? And I'm going to jump back into LinkedIn here and do more of them in just a second, okay? But I want to make sure you get that. If somebody has to go, I want to make sure you get that early. No, the headline has more than a 20-character limit. The headline should have a lot more than 20 characters. I forget. It was recently elongated, I guess is the only thing I can think of. Oh, you just exceeded it by 20. Yes, Mark, that makes more sense. So look at the chat, everybody. Go grab that guide. I'll give you a minute to do that. Download it. You don't have to read it now. Just put it somewhere safe. And go apply everything in that guide. Now, what we've talked about today, as you know, we've been looking here at your profile. These other three areas are also very, very important. These are the other things that you need to start to think about, okay? But today we're focused on the guide. However, if you want to learn more about the rest of this here, if you want to learn how to apply this to your profile, or maybe you have a sales team and you're thinking, shoot, the rest of my sales team needs to go through this. They need to get this training. We'll certainly make the recording available, but we have a few things, other resources I want to turn you on to give you some tangible next steps. Does that sound good, everybody? Give me a yes if you want to see a couple of additional resources I want to give you. You want to see those? Give me a yes if you do. Okay, cool. And then I'll jump back into LinkedIn. So here's how we can help. I've asked my team to set aside a few blocks of time over the next week, between now and next Friday, so that we can speak one-on-one about how we can help you apply omni-channel and social selling to your company, to your sales team, to you as an individual, so that you can reach and engage your clients using these modern strategies that we're talking about. Remember, what I've gone through with you so far is just a piece of this. There's an entire framework that you need to know. And because there's so many different types of companies here, I saw printers, agencies, B2B, B2C. There are a variety of different ways that you can apply this to be specific to your business. Okay, I'm not here to say that there's a one size fits all solution. So if you want help, if you want to talk through that with us, there's no obligation. Of course, we're not asking you to buy anything, but if you want to talk, Suze, drop this link, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. We've got a group of 4 people to help one-on-one talk this through with you. Okay. One-on-one. Spaces are limited, just as I said, because we've only got a certain number of days here that we've blocked out and a certain number of people. So if you want to talk more about this one-on-one, Suze, please take that link, drop it in the chat, grab one of those spots, first come, first serve, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Now, who's this for? I want to clarify who we can help here. If you think that omni-channel social selling is perhaps the missing ingredient in your business, for your sales, your marketing staff, for you, given the pandemic, and heck, it doesn't seem to be getting any better, face-to-face selling is hard. This is one very powerful way to get around that. So if you think this might help you and your organization, this is for you. Second, some of you are service providers, marketing service providers, meaning you might want to offer omni-channel services to your clients. Does that make sense? Maybe you sell marketing campaigns. Maybe you say, shoot, I want to be able to offer this whole new way of engaging my market. I want to package this up and I want to sell this to my clients. So if that's either of those are of interest to you, and you want to learn this model, some of you have seen this model. This is the omni-channel social selling framework, right? We can help you with training. We can help you with software. We can help you understand how to service and sell customers with this. And when we get on that call, we'll give you an overview of what we can do to help, different training packages, different software we can do to help, different things that you might need your organization to do. I see some of you asking about Sales Navigator. We can talk about that. Sales Navigator is one of the paid pieces of LinkedIn. Answer your questions and help you understand how to get the best results in the shortest amount of time to get where you need to be. Does that make sense? So if you're interested in that, mindfiremarketing.com, go grab one of those spots. Thomas is saying, is this applicable to startups? Yes, absolutely. Betty is saying, yes, I need help selling this to customers, reselling. Face-to-face is difficult. COVID has prevented much of that. Yes, Jeff, I understand. I know. That's why we're doing this training. So if you want to talk more, Suzanne, send that link out to everybody again. Kim is asking about singlepreneurs. So Kim, tell me more about your business, Kim. It is absolutely applicable to everyone, but tell me more about what it is you sell. What is the price point and how far along in your progression as a company are you, Kim? Training, development, and coaching emerging leaders. Okay, and what's your price point, Kim? What do you sell your services for on average? Just give me some idea. As you're doing that, Kim, let me give you, if you're folks like me and you like the data, let me give you some data here around why you need to consider getting your LinkedIn profile set up right now and why it's so important for your organization to perhaps talk to us further about this. According to a recent LinkedIn survey, this is over 500 sales professionals, 80% said that they have somewhat or completely shifted to virtual selling due to COVID-19. What did we have yesterday? 140, 150,000 cases? I'm not making any political statements. I'm not making any statement about COVID, not COVID, any of that stuff. I'm just saying that as sales and marketing people who need to feed our families, feed our presses if we're in print, it's tough. And I don't think we're going back to face-to-face anytime soon. If you're not succeeding right now, if you're having a tough time, or if you're worried about how you're going to make the transition, let's talk on that call. Of those who responded, 57% believe the new social selling model is better than the previous traditional selling approach. Look, folks, I was just telling my business partner here at Mindfire yesterday. I had a meeting with the leadership team here at Mindfire, all over Zoom. That meeting ran much better than it ever did face-to-face. Now, maybe things will change. I think we're going into a world eventually where the rules look different. But social selling, in many cases, right now, is the only way that you can actually compete. 46% expect to continue selling this way beyond 12 months. So I humbly submit to you that a sales model, a marketing model, whether you're a solopreneur, a startup, or a seasoned organization, embracing this isn't a nice to have anymore. It's imperative because of what's going on out there. And if you act now, you have a competitive advantage. I've given you the data. You can see that. Also, think about this. As we transitioned to virtual selling, we pulled the data. It could be said that there was already kind of this divide between buyers and sellers. You probably already felt this even before the pandemic, right? That something had changed and was changing about how you reach your customers and prospects. Give me a yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Something changed. Now, with the pandemic, that's accelerated even more, right? Give me a yes. Yeah, I see them coming in. This divide has only been amplified. At the onset of COVID-19, what we saw, sellers increased their email outreach by 59% as they were trying to adapt to this craziness that was going on, right? Yet, on the other end, recipients, buyers, decreased their email consumption by 25 to 30% compared to before COVID. So my point is, if the model of sales that we were using was already difficult before the pandemic, this new virtual world that we're in has made it almost completely unviable. And so that's why I'm suggesting this moment calls for a new model. And that's what omnichannel social selling and marketing is all about. Everything going forward needs to be constructed around giving value, putting your customer in the center, putting your LinkedIn profile in a way where it's talking to your ideal customer. These things are all tied together. Are you seeing this? Now, if nothing else, I think one more thing is really important here to remember. As Generation Z and millennials become increasingly prevalent in the workforce, they grew up on social, right? And if we're trying to get our customers and prospects' attention, we got to be where they're at. We got to be in the place where there's attention, where their attention is present. Okay, that's why this is so important. So what I'm going to do now is I want to pause for questions. Betty, why are you saying ugh? Betty, don't worry. Tell me more about why you're saying ugh. I'm going to pause for questions. I'm going to jump back into LinkedIn. We're here officially for another 20 minutes, but I'll stay as long as necessary. Okay. Anthony is saying, I'm sorry. In the UK, it's 7:10. I need to get home. Please send me any information that I may miss. Anthony, you got it. Have a great time with your friends or your family. Thank you for being here. One more thing I want to show you folks as we open for questions here. If you look at the screen, and it looks like I wasn't sharing the screen here, there's a demo here, marketingsmissinglink.com. Suze, do you mind putting that into the chat? Put that into the chat. And this is a small little demo site of what omnichannel looks like if you create a campaign that uses all of these different touch points. So we just talked about LinkedIn today, right? But there are other optimal channels that you can use in tandem to reach your customers and prospects. So if you're thinking, how do I use this for my organization? Or how do I sell this to my customers if you're a service provider? I pulled this little demo here together for you. The team built this. Take a look at that. Look at that afterwards. Or if you want, go play with it now if you want. Suzanne's going to throw that in the chat. You put in some information and you get to experience what an omnichannel campaign feels like, okay? You can do that later if you want, but I wanted to make sure you have that. So if you have any questions for us, put those into the chat. I'm going to try to get all of the questions that I see coming in. I want to make sure that if you want some time with us, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Kushal, I know you've been here with us behind the scenes. Are you still there, Kushal?
Yeah.
All right, man. Awesome. Suzanne's been pulling all the questions together, but
yeah,
if you could help me here, what is like the one or two major themes that you see here in the questions that you think I should answer?
Sure. I mean, this is a very active group. I'm seeing so many questions come through. It's amazing. Uh, but one of the themes that seems very prominent is people are starting to ask about more information on how we can help them, what kind of things we can do to help them go to the next step,
Okay.
get over the fear of social media, ramp up what they're doing. Like, how exactly can we help? Those kinds of things.
Got it. Got it. Sure, folks. So I'm happy to answer that. Thank you, Kushal. And I see Joe saying, what's your recommended time requirement for omni-channel marketing, weekly time requirement? It depends on, Joe, how extensive you go into this. If you're just thinking about the LinkedIn aspect, and then Kushal, I'll get back to your question there from the audience. It can be hours per week, certainly. But it can be more. Joe, I think the question I would have for you is, do you have a dedicated marketing resource? If you do, then I think I would answer that based on kind of what your resource allocation looks like. So let me get back to your question, Kushal. Resources. What else can we do? First of all, Suzanne already dumped these in, but let's make sure we're connected. Okay, that's the first thing that we can make sure we do to help. Suzanne, if you can dump in my LinkedIn profile again there into the chats, join the COVID-19 print group, text me, okay? Those are all ways that we can stay connected. TJ saying, thank you, David. I have to leave to talk to a couple of clients that have called me. Awesome. Betty says, I really stink at Reddit. Yeah, we're thinking about doing a class on Reddit as well. All right. We definitely will do that. Now, if you're interested in what else we can do to help, I've got on the screen here this URL, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Suzanne has put that into the chat a few times. We know that revenue recovery is really important for people right now, generating revenue and getting back to some meaningful level of revenue. So to answer your question, Kushal, number of things we can do to help you folks. We have software that helps automate and give you the tools that you need to run omni-channel marketing. We've talked about your LinkedIn profile today. I'm going to jump back in, keep answering questions on that in a second. But our software can help you do things to get more out of LinkedIn and to drive more sales and more leads through what we call omni-channel marketing. So you can create campaigns. We can help you do that. Many of you sign up for events like this, and you're actually touching parts of the Mindfire platform when you do that. You may not realize that, but we eat our own dog food and we use our software to create those campaigns. So dashboards and analytics to help you understand how your campaigns are performing, obviously very imperative. There's also a CRM system built in. So as you're engaging in omni-channel, as you're running campaigns, you're going to be having people engage with you. And it's important that you keep track of that, obviously. So that's built into the system as well. So hopefully some of those things are helpful for you. If you want to talk more about those, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. Mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Built into the system are landing pages. You can do email. It eliminates the need for a lot of expensive programming and time that these types of campaigns often require, okay? So that's one thing we can do to help. I saw somebody asking about training. So if you're in LinkedIn or if you're in Zoom and you'd like more training, give me a yes if you want to know more about training. We actually have a 6-week class. Some of you who are here today actually were in yesterday's class. Give me a yes if you'd like more training. We have a 6-week omni-channel secrets training. Again, if you want to talk about that, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. What we do in that training is we help you learn how to find high value content. I think it was Natasha asked earlier, is it okay to reuse content? Actually, that's a strategy that we teach you how to do in this training, Natasha. How to find and create engaging content, how to use it for your own organization, for your own efforts, how to distribute that in the right way to create leads, how to continue to build your magnetic profile here on LinkedIn, how to write for LinkedIn and other channels to actually get the engagement that you need. Because writing content, the words that you're using is what's going to be driving people in to engage with you. That's so very important. We also cover what we call omni-channel custom audiences. And that's a way of creating a halo around your market in a way where for very low investment, your market's going to be seeing you everywhere. Okay. And some of you probably experienced that here with Mindfire. You're probably sick of seeing my face, but that's what it is. Okay. Tony says, this has been great. Thank you. I'm so happy Suzanne invited me. Tony, I'm glad you're here. So this training helps you build your professional brand. 81% of people are more likely to engage with a strong professional brand. We also show you how to engage with the LinkedIn profiles of your prospective accounts, okay? Sales professionals that view the profiles of at least 10 people at each of their accounts are 69% more likely to exceed quota. And I know it seems like it's just clicking, but we teach you what you need to learn about how to look at your prospective customers in a way that helps you drive quota. You're 70% more likely to get an appointment or unexpected sale if you're a member of a LinkedIn group. So we talk about that. We teach you how to participate in a LinkedIn group in a way that's going to drive the results that you're looking for. Again, if any of this is helpful, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Let's book a time to talk about it further. Couple examples here. When you post on LinkedIn, you'll reestablish contact with folks that you previously lost touch with. A lot of you have wide networks that are kind of lying dormant there on LinkedIn. And there's just a lot of potential, a lot of things that you can do. So I want to make sure that I've seen this question come in a few times. Is this something for me? This is for you if you're in the print community, agencies we can help, B2B marketers, if you're a marketing person, a salesperson, if you're on the leadership team, anybody with a message who knows that the old ways of doing things aren't working anymore. All right, I'm going to stop there. There's more that we can do to help. Let me answer more questions. Let's see. What do we have over here? From Shelly saying, we are reps for various suppliers. Do you suggest changing out your headline picture with each product on occasion? Yeah, Shelly, I think that's a great idea. I would suggest always be experimenting with this stuff and try changing. What she's asking is about this picture, right? And I've got so many of these open. I'm going to close a few of them. Forgive me, folks. As somebody said earlier, my computer, she's talking about this image right here. Should we change out this image? Yeah, I would suggest experimenting with that. John is saying the first profile you showed had a beautiful nature shot. Is that okay? Or is it better to put in something more specific to your services? Okay, so John, I think it was, John asked this question. So everything that I'm talking about here, I wouldn't say are necessarily immutable truths, meaning take some creative license with these ideas. Understand the mindset behind them and be willing to experiment and test, okay? So that nature shot may work well for you. Test it. Or test it against something that's more demonstrative of what you can do for your customer or your prospect, okay? Michael says, I miss notifications all the time and find them 3 days or more later. Is there a tone or notification I can set to sound when something comes in? Yeah, Michael, we've talked to the LinkedIn team about this. It's not great yet, which is why, Michael, are you in the print industry? Are you in print? That's why when we come across leads and opportunities, that's why we've added people to our text messaging system to notify you when leads are there. So I don't know when they're going to fix that, but it's not great. Okay, so there are ways that you can keep a list of things that you're trying to monitor, and then you have to manually go back and look. That's actually something that we're working on in our software to help address, but it's not great. That's just the way it is right now. All right, let me see what other questions we have here from Anne. How do you get the cover image in order to add it? So Anne, get the guide from Suzanne. The instructions are in there. Let me see. So this is Natalie saying, I'm looking for a job. So should I not be me? Natalie, I'm speaking above my pay grade here when it comes to looking for a job. There are others who are much more suited to speaking to that. So I can only give you my opinion on that. But generally, we're working with folks, B2B, B2C sales and marketing professionals looking to grow brand and leads and sales. So just with that caveat, my answer would be to always consider whenever you're presenting, producing, speaking to someone, to consider them in order to be maximally effective in your communication. Now, there may be somebody on here who's an expert in finding a job through LinkedIn. They may say that's horrible advice. I don't know. I can connect you to a few people who can definitely help you in that regard. One of them is Brian Galad, who I showed you earlier. There are others on LinkedIn who do a fantastic job in that area. That's just my suggestion. But again, that's not necessarily our area of expertise. Let's see. Michael says, I did text you during the meeting. Can I get on the text list for pushes from Mindfire? Michael, yes. Let me see. I imagine I have a number of them here. Let me just see how many came in. Yeah, I see you here. There's a ton here. So yes, absolutely. We will add you to that, and I'll respond to you after this event. Robert is saying, articles, how do you post them, and can they be blogs from my company webpage that I have written? So Robert, when you're saying articles, do you mean LinkedIn articles specifically? I can show you that if that's what you're wondering. Kim is saying, thank you, Suzanne. Okay, so Robert, let me know the answer to your question there. I can answer that for you. And folks over in Facebook and LinkedIn, what questions do you have? I'm looking at multiple screens here, so forgive me. Gina saying, to the person asking about looking for work. Yeah, Gene, give me your thoughts there. A couple other things I want to show you here in the profiles. Really important here. Let me pull up one. Okay, here we go. Everyone looking at the screen? Give me a yes if you're looking at the screen. Anthony is back. All right, Anthony, we were waiting for you. Check this out. I mentioned this to you. You see this over here? People also viewed. John, you see it? Lynn, Shelly, Anthony, Natasha, Kim. People on LinkedIn and Facebook. Give me a yes if you can see this. LinkedIn is smart. But what they're doing is they're showing people who are looking at Michelle. Michelle, are you still here? Prospects and customers. They're showing your prospects and your customers people that are very much like you. Services, products, things that you offer. Essentially, your competition. What I suggest you do, and you'll find the instructions here in the guide, is turn that off. Why should you even risk sending people to your competition or possible competitors? There might be some use cases where that makes sense, but I would recommend you turn that off, Michelle. So go over there, folks, look at yours. See if you have this on where it says people also viewed. People also viewed is LinkedIn's way of continuing to drive clicks, but it's smart. It's finding competitors. It's finding people like you, companies like yours, to show the viewer. And so if you've got an incomplete profile, or maybe you're missing an image up here, which Mark isn't, but let's say he was, and they go see somebody over here that looks more professional or that's speaking more to them and their needs, bye-bye, Mark. I'm headed over here. Why put that opportunity on the table? Turn it off. Shelly, you want to know how to turn it off? It's in the guide. All the steps are in there. And Suzanne just sent that to everybody. So hopefully that was helpful for all of you. Look, I want to stay on till all of your questions are answered. I know we're here officially for 90 minutes, but I see the questions still coming in. So I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. And I'm going to just keep going here until you guys and girls, men and women, excuse me, tell me that you're good. So Suzanne, keep those questions in. I see you've sent me a few more. Let me pull this back up here on the screen for just a moment. Again, if you want to learn more, I gave you a couple of resources earlier. Like I said, we've set aside time to talk to you. Suzanne, if you can just shoot me in a note, how many people have, over in Ring Central, how many people have signed up for a time to talk to us? Just so I know how many spaces we have left. Like I said earlier, we set aside time to talk to you in the next week to talk to you about how you can apply this in your business. Mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Suzanne has given you that URL if you want to talk further. Okay, it looks like we're getting close to the limit here. I see the number there, Suzanne. But if you want to talk more, like I said, either if you run sales, you oversee marketing, or you're a business owner, and you need to figure out how to circumvent these tough times that we're in because we can't get face-to-face with clients and prospects, omni-channel social selling is likely something that you should consider. And if you want to just explore that with us, schedule some time to talk. We'll walk through that with you and see if this is something that would work for you. Second, for some of you, if you want to offer this as a service to your clients, I had this on the screen earlier. You want to offer this model as a campaign service to your clients. Let's schedule a time to talk and see if that's something that you and your organization can generate revenue from. Marcella says, thank you, David. In the Netherlands, it's 8:30. Have a nice weekend. Absolutely. Michelle says, please provide me this recording. I'd love to share it with my team. We'd be happy to do that. And Marcel or Michelle, Bob, anybody else, if you want to talk further, mindfiremarketing.com/yes, that's there on the screen. And I know Suzanne has given you that link as well. Lisa is saying, what is your opinion about posting and commenting on the weekends in LinkedIn and responding to messages? Or should I keep it to business hours, Monday through Friday? Lisa, I love that question. So my personal experience has been that Saturday morning between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific is a very good time to engage with senior leaders. I don't know what they're doing, if they're like me and they're just kind of lounging and just absorbing content and information and kind of letting their brain make new brain connections. That's kind of what I'm doing Saturday morning with my kids. But something happened Saturday morning. I've been able to get in touch with top executives. I've received messages from top folks Saturday morning. And so my response to you would be, social is ongoing 24/7, 365. Tuesday, for whatever reason, seems to be a really busy day. So you will see some ebb and flow in content. But in terms of posting and commenting, I would suggest try every day. Try all times of the day. See what works for you and for your tribe. I would be cautious around thinking that there's one, universal time of day or day of the week that works best for everyone. I'm just telling you what I have found, and Saturday has worked very, very well. So in terms of keeping it just business hours, Monday through Friday, be free to experiment. Be very free to experiment. Jeff says, thank you, David. Very helpful. Glenn says, please send a video link. Okay, Glenn, we'll send that to you. Gene says, if anyone wants to reach out to talk to me further via text, drop me a line to talk further. Gene, I think you were referring to... Gene is answering, I think, the question that someone asked about how to present themselves if they're looking for a job. He said, I'm not an expert in this, and maybe I should practice this thought too. You need to treat yourself as a product or service that you're selling. Pretend you're a life-size doll. How would you sell it? Interesting. Mark says, thanks for the insights. It's been fun. Mark, has it been fun? We try to serve you and keep it engaging and make it well worth your time. Mark, I hope it's been well worth your time. Michael says, I'd like to share this recording with the rest of my sales team. Is that link going to be sent out after this is over? Yes, Michael, it takes a little while for the processing of the video, but you should have it later today. John says, great information as always. Thank you. You're welcome. Rob says, I tried to remove the people also viewed with your instructions. So Rob, you likely have the newer version of the user interface. So Suzanne, if you're still listening, you have the instructions, Suzanne, for the new UI. If you can send those over to Rob. So there's two versions of LinkedIn going on out there right now, folks. And a small percentage of people have the new version, and the vast majority have the old version. So that's if something doesn't look exactly like what I showed you on the screen, it's because you have the other version. Okay. Thomas is saying, Dave, thanks so much for this. This is a ton of gold. Alan says, thanks for another excellent information and great session. You're welcome. You're welcome, folks. All right, so I'm going to put this back on the screen. Questions. If you have to leave, please say goodbye. Let's see here. Igor says, if someone reaches out to you and their profile was crafted to the T according to your guide, and the only missing piece was not posting content, would you not engage with that person? Igor, I think you're asking me a personal question, so I have to think about how I would personally respond to that. Let me show you all something. For those of you who are still here, let me show you how to get an insider view of what your customers and prospects are doing. Let me show you why I hesitate on that, Igor. Right? Can everyone see the screen? Okay. Cool. So I've pulled Mark back up here on the screen, okay? And if you scroll down to where you see this section called activity, everyone should be able to see this. And you click on see all. A lot of people don't know this. So for those of you who are sticking around, you're gonna get some info here that most people don't know. Some of you are rather spicy on social. When I say that, I mean you leave comments that can get people riled up. Maybe you don't do it intentionally. I'm sure none of you would do that, right? I just want you to be aware that everyone can see that. A lot of people don't know that. But if you follow the click that I just did, LinkedIn will actually show anyone your activity. All right. And so we can see here that Mark liked this post. So imagine if Mark, let's see, he liked that one. Mark liked that one. Mark liked this one. So Mark mostly likes posts. It looks like that's what Mark commented on this. Okay, here's a good example, right? So Mark wrote this comment right here. Now, of course, Mark left a very professional comment, but sometimes people don't realize that the spiciness that they leave, the saltiness that they leave on other people's posts are immediately viewable. So Igor, if I can't see what somebody else is doing, if I don't see them publishing content and leaving thoughtful comments, I would be less inclined to engage, or I might pause a bit. Or put another way, if I saw thoughtful comments, if I saw valuable posts, I'd probably be more inclined to engage. So that's the way you can spy on what your clients, your prospects, people who are connecting with you, what they're all about. If you want to see the content that they're posting, check this out right here. Click posts right here, and you see Mark 4 days ago posted this content here. 1 week ago posted this content, and you can go back and see what value Mark is putting out into the world. Fred says, Dave, you made it to my 65-inch TV in my office for me and 2 others to watch. Hey, 2 others. Nice to meet you. That means you're large and in charge, my friend. Thanks again. Thank you, Fred. It's always a pleasure to have you here. So do you all see that? If you go to the activity section, this is true for all of you. Let me go take a look at Michelle. I'm going to go to her see all. And the first thing, usually the default here is it highlights the all activity. So I can see that Michelle liked this post. I can tell that she loved this one. She likes this one. She likes that one. See, as I told you, most people don't comment. And you can kind of see that through these examples here. Most people don't comment. Okay, let's see what content she's actually posted and how long ago that was. Bye, Anthony. 1 week ago, she did leave did post here. 2 weeks ago, she did Happy Halloween. 7 months ago, she reshared something. Okay, so you can see she's not that active, and I'm sure that's why she's here. She wants to learn how to do what needs to be done. All right, so Igor, if you're still here, let me know if I answered your question. Suzanne, any other curated questions that have come out from the audience? Let me know. Put that over there in the Ring Central chat. I can still see there's people here in Zoom. I know we're past our time. I can see people here in Zoom. If you're in LinkedIn, give me a yes over in LinkedIn so I can see it on the screen. All right, I want to see the names of the people who are still here. Give me a yes over there in Zoom. Give me a yes in LinkedIn. Give me a yes in Facebook. Okay, Wendy's here. John says, thank you and good night, David. Very helpful. I will post more comments and make some changes. Thank you, John. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stephen is saying, David, what is the biggest mistake you can make with LinkedIn? Not using it. Stephen. That's probably a kind of a trite answer, though. So let me think of what the next answer would be. If you are using it, not engaging in, let me bring that back up here on the screen here for you. Here. So Stephen, if you're still here, and that's a great question. It's a fair question. If you look at the screen, most people, I guess the biggest mistake would be trying it and giving up too soon. Because most people are not willing to put in the time and are not willing to learn like you are what it is that they need to do. You got to learn what to do and you got to put the time in. It's like anything, okay? Mackenzie on our team always talks about, look, if you want to lose weight or you want to get a fantastic body, right? All you need to do is go to the gym once. That should be enough, right? No, not even close. Some of you have to go 3 or 4 times a week. Weeks, months. If you're Arnold, you want to be best in the world, you got to go for years or decades. I'm not saying it's going to take decades to learn LinkedIn. But the biggest mistake Stephen, would be trying it and saying it doesn't work for me because you don't understand this entire process or because you give up too soon. Rick says, thanks, David. Have to run. Jeff says, can you quickly look at my page? Happy to, Jeff. And Bruce, changing the background picture on profile in easy steps. So Bruce, the easy steps are in this document. Jeff, yeah, please go ahead and send me your profile. Lisa says, thank you. I do need to hop off, but I got in for one of the spots next week. Always a fan of your content, Dave. Thank you, Lisa. That's very kind of you. There is a big group of people here at Mindfire who helped me produce this training. Suzanne, Kushal, Nicole, many of them are here in the audience today. So I get to be what I call the dancing monkey here on stage, but I appreciate you hearing that, but also want you to know there's an incredible team of people here that make this all possible. So we love hearing that when we know we've been of service to you. So Jeff, I'm going to bring yours up here on the screen. Happy to do that. Rick, you got to run, no problem. Have fun running. Mark says, as always, great commentary. No problem. I'm glad I can keep you entertained. Okay. So the first impression that I get, Jeff, without knowing you is something food related, cafe related. Soup, grill, wild cafe. Let's see, what do you do? SVP of sales at Semiotic Marketing International, large format, signage manufacturing, grocery. Okay, so it looks like signage manufacturing specifically for this market. Is that right, Jeff? Partner SVP. Okay, so Jeff, see kind of you just kind of experienced what often happens on LinkedIn when somebody is looking at you, Jeff, right? So did this image lead me in the right direction? With a little prompting, I got there, right? The other place I looked was right here. And because it says partner SVP of sales at Semiotic, did I pronounce that correctly, hopefully? It doesn't tell me, am I in your target market and what can you do for me? My recommendation, Jeff, I just submit for you to consider. When you grab that guide, you'll see a little example of how you can recraft your headline in a way that might speak to me if I'm in your target audience, okay? Mark says, actually, I was not being a smartass this time. No problem. I meant great education, content, and suggestions. Good, Mark. I appreciate that. Not a problem. So the picture is a product we did. Okay, cool. Maybe, Jeff, I would consider maybe. Can you superimpose a couple of bullets on here of, the value that you provide, the thing that you do, the service that you provide, the output, the outcome that you deliver? And here might be a good spot. One little pro tip, check that image on your cell as well, because sometimes if you put text right here, it actually gets cut off on the cell, okay? I'll scroll down. Yep. I also want to call your attention, Jeff, to this over here. So people also viewed, if you can, turn that off. Gene says, thank you, David, for this webinar. You and your team are always inspiring and full of helpful info. I look forward to your comments regarding my profile. I'll talk soon. Okay, awesome, Gene. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Let me see a couple of other things here. I'm going to scroll down. We're looking at Jeff right now. Jeff is here on the screen. Good cover shot. I think that one should do. Interesting. Didn't know that. Okay, so you've got your contact info here. Eugene, no problem. Have a great rest of your day. I know you got to go. Forgive me for not being able to read it quickly here during the session, Jeff, but if this is written to show me the benefit of what you can do for me as your target audience, then I would say you're going in the right direction. Rod, you're welcome. Have a good weekend. Also, folks, this is good too. For those of you who are still here, you can use, and we highly recommend it, you'll see it in the guide, highlight things that you can do in your featured media section here. That's what this is called right here. You see that? And he's got a few examples here of things that he can do for the client, for his target market. That's great. Ali says, Dave, this has been a great presentation. Truly appreciate it. Ali, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. So now when I scroll down, close to 7,000 followers, not bad. Let's see how active you are in publishing content, Jeff. So you all know now that you can see everything that he's engaging with, but I want to see specifically what posts he's done. An hour ago, he did this. A week ago, he did that. 2 weeks ago, he did this. 2 weeks ago. Interesting. One little, let me see here. Is Jeff, does Bob work for you, or does Bob work at your company? Let me know, Jeff, if I got that right. Yeah, that's fine, Jeff. That's actually a very good point. So Jeff just said, everyone, all of my posts are not about business. So for the folks that are still here in LinkedIn and Zoom and Facebook, that's a very powerful thing, what Jeff just said. And if you were to go into our training, if you take any of our training, I had it up on the screen earlier. That's something we teach you how to do, and we teach you why you should do it. But Jeff, you're onto something. Do more of that. Bob is an industry repost. Okay. So one little pro tip here, and you actually got some engagement. For whatever reason, we practitioners of LinkedIn notice that when you do this, Jeff, unless you do what we call add value on top, usually these kinds of shares do not do very well, meaning their reach and their engagement is low. So you added a little bit of value on top here, but if you could add a little bit more, you might see something like that do better. I noticed that with this one here, it actually did fairly well. I have a feeling it has to do with the topic here. Jewish men who arrived at Auschwitz. Yeah, I could tell that would probably touch people. So just a little inside information. Often I see people doing this where they're sharing other people's content like this. And if you're not getting engagement, if you're not getting folks contacting you, if you're not getting what you're looking for, either add more value on top. When I say more value on top, let me find this example here, right? Add something on top of this post here that adds a contrasting view, that adds additional value to that adds your unique insight, that gives your reader something more profound or more insightful that you can add to the conversation on top of this post. Try that. Or let me see, one of these was a video. Is this a video? Yeah. Download this video and post it organically, meaning post it yourself. You can, of course, give whoever you found it from some credit there in the post, but post it yourself without sharing it, and you will find often better reach and better engagement. Okay, Mark says, good answer to my question. Jeff says, yes. Mark says, even if he doesn't know Bob, yeah, you can share stuff from people you don't know. Yeah. And Jeff, when I give you these insights, they're not, pulled out of thin air. These are from working with thousands of organizations, thousands of people, being a practitioner of LinkedIn, using it ourselves, using it myself personally. So everything I'm telling you is stuff that we know firsthand. Okay, I want to make sure that you know that it's not conjecture or something that we think might work. These are all things that we have found to be true. All right, what other questions do you all have? I mentioned the training. I'm going to bring that back up here on the screen. Shelly, you have an awesome weekend too. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you. I mentioned the training. I don't know if this was viewable earlier. I happened to notice that my screen wasn't on. Here, this is the 6-week training. If anybody is interested in that 6-week training, go to mindfiremarketing.com/yes. Let us know if you're interested in training and we can follow up with you. Nia says, thank you, Dave. You have to drop, no problem. Shelly, see ya. Jeff, I saw your note there. Suzanne, thanks for posting that in there. I appreciate that. If you're interested in the training, like I said, we go through quite a number of things to help you understand over the course of 6 weeks how to take this deeper. And similar to what Jeff raised a moment ago, going personal in your posts is very powerful. And yeah, I know you're saying, hey, this is a business network. I'm looking for leads. I'm looking to sell something, right? People buy from people. And when you can connect with your audience in a way that transcends you just being a corporate speak, PR laden, press release type communicator, amazing things can happen. All right. Gabriella, hey, that's my sister's name, by the way, says thanks. Kathleen says thank you. Marty says thank you, David, for the awesome information. Talk with you next week. Awesome. Rob says got to run to the presses and make some money. Rob, hang on 1 second. Let me show you one more thing. Can you wait 1 second, Rob? One thing I didn't talk to you all about, if finding content, thank you, Rob. If finding content is something that's difficult for you, if you believe that omni-channel of creating self-promotional marketing campaigns that use these new techniques are helpful to you, Rob, one more thing, and forgive me for not knowing, maybe you already have this with us, maybe you don't, but a lot of people struggle with the creation of high-value content, especially our friends in the print community. One other thing we can do to help, we have created what we call content packs. These are campaigns, omni-channel campaigns that are 90% configured with content material that we know resonates with the end market. In other words, Rob, if you wanted to create a campaign and talk to your customers about how direct mail is still relevant, or about how Facebook and digital can make direct mail more effective, we have end-to-end campaigns that include all the emails, the landing pages, the ebook itself, all of the nurture sequences that you need if you want to drive more print through those presses, so that the heavy lifting has already been done. You go in there and you configure the last 10% for your organization, for your sales team, and use that to drive more print through those presses. If direct mail is your thing, if that's a service you offer, we have one that we did here with the USPS, a look at how millennials respond to direct mail. Again, the idea here, Rob, and for anybody else who this may be applicable to, actually, let me annotate on the screen. These campaigns have little hotspots in them, little variable areas, like you put your logo here, right? Obviously, you'd replace that with your picture, Rob, and your name and your phone number. And these are campaigns that use omni-channel techniques to then distribute this information out in order to keep you out in front of your clients and your prospects to create more awareness and generate leads. So we have a number of those campaigns. I don't know if that's helpful to you, Rob. Is something like that helpful? If it is, love to talk to you if we're not already scheduled to talk. mindfiremarketing.com/yes. And then is Natasha still here? And then Rob, go take care of those presses, man. Have a great day. Is Natasha still here? I don't know if Natasha's still here. Over there in Zoom or LinkedIn, let me know if you have any other questions. One other thing that I want to make everybody aware of, also in the Mindfire software, if this is helpful to you. Natasha asked earlier, is it okay to reuse content? So we have a full training on this. We can send you the training on this as well. But one thing you can do, and it's built into our software. Jeff says, really terrific, Dave. You should have been a radio broadcaster. Yeah, people always tell me I missed my calling. But I noticed you didn't say TV host, right? Should I be offended by that? No, I'm just kidding. Jeff, have a great day. If you are looking for engaging content, you can actually use other people's content to drive awareness, leads, and sales for your business. Here's what I mean by that. TV2, thank you, Jeff. Inside the Mindfire software, and we have a full training on this, you can identify a target market, and the system will find for you content that already resonates with that target market. That makes sense? So it'll go out and it'll go look and see how many engagements on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, etc. this content is getting as a gauge for you to understand whether or not that content resonates. And if it is, you can then share that article and superimpose on top of it what we call a call to action. It's basically a banner, a button that links people back to you. So it's another technique that allows you to put value out into the world, to give out those hundreds, right? By using content that is already working, superimposing your call to action on top of it, and driving traffic back to you. If that just blew your mind, let us know. We'd be happy to talk to you about that as well. Hashtag. Jeff, what's your question about hashtags? Happy to answer that. I'm going to pull this back up on the screen. Suzanne, if you can give me the latest count, let me know if we still have any spots left. If not, I will stop putting that up on the screen. If you can just let me know. Hashtags, Jeff. Yes, definitely good to use. Fred, yes, you heard content training. You did hear that. All right. So Jeff is asking about hashtags. That's something we actually do cover in that training that I mentioned to you. But Jeff, just very briefly, hashtags are a really powerful tool in LinkedIn to expose your content to more people. Now, one mistake people make, let's go back to LinkedIn. One mistake people often make, and we can train you on all of this if this is helpful to you, is when you're writing a post, they will write something up here, blah, 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 right? Let's imagine that's my fantastic post. And then they'll write something cutesy like, I am so awesome, look at me. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's not a good example, but sometimes people make up hashtags that echo the spirit of what they're writing about. You'll see that on Instagram a lot, Facebook. This on LinkedIn doesn't do anything for you. On LinkedIn, what you should do, let me make sure I don't post that, discard. Jeff, what industry are you in? Forgive me again. So many names have come through here. Jeff, just remind me what industry you're in. Signage. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to come here and type in signage. You see how I did that? I came to the search, I hit pound and then signage. I go down to the hashtag signage. And Jeff, this is true for you and for everyone else who's watching right now. Go and type in the hashtags of the industries that you want to be seen by. That hashtag, as opposed to the silly one that I made up, actually has 3,880 people following it. They've told LinkedIn, look, I want to get content that's about signage. So instead of just making up a cutesy hashtag, or Jeff writing a post without a hashtag, find the hashtags that are going to put you in front of your target market. You see how I did that? Oh, you want to see how I did it again? Okay, sure. So here you are on your homepage. All right. Come up here to the search. I'm going to do another hashtag just so some other people can see it as well, right? Hit the number sign. And then I'm going to type in direct mail, since I know we have a lot of direct mail folks here. It'll come up with a couple of suggestions. I'm just going to pick the first one, which matches what I typed in. And LinkedIn will show me now for that hashtag how many people are following that hashtag. Does that make sense, Jeff, and everybody else who's still here? Make sense? So what you should do is you should be using that hashtag in your posts so that you have the chance of more people seeing your content. Mark says, do you find the large percentage of those following the hashtag are in the industry? You know, Mark, what I would do is I would start to, so first of all, I don't know if there's any one right answer to that, but what this is helpful for here is you should follow the hashtag yourself and start to see who engages with it. But you can also start to scroll down here and see what's being posted using that hashtag and who's engaging with that content. That'll give you an idea to answer your question. Like, here's a really interesting one, right? Look at this one here. Direct mail. It's actually somebody I know. Interesting. Look at the engagement here. 205 and 135 comments. Now, if you sell direct mail, I would recommend that, and I don't know what this, I forget what Jeremy does, but if you sell direct mail, I would go in here and start talking with these people, these 135 people. Think of it like, remember when we used to go to trade shows back in the day? And at lunchtime, they would set up tables for all of us to sit at and eat. Now, I know some of us are shy. Whoops, I just threw my pen. And we go and we just want to focus on our food. But if you can force yourself out of your shell, as many of you know, you look to your left, you look to your right, you start asking some questions, you can generate some leads. That's the same thing here in the comments, right? Just start talking to people. The most powerful thing you can do is ask a question. That'll start a dialogue, okay? Then what you do. Jeff, are you asking about the hashtag? Let me know. Mark is saying, sounds like a good way to engage with potential clients. I have not seen feeds come through from following hashtags. So Mark, did you go to a hashtag and actually hit follow? You have to hit follow to make sure you're getting that content. Okay. Then it might be a hashtag. Give me an example of one of the hashtags that you follow. Can you find that for me? It might be that your hashtag doesn't have much quality content, which could be an opportunity for you. Yeah, direct mail market. Well, marketing has a lot. You should definitely be seeing content for marketing, because that's got a lot of followers. That's got, what are we at right now here? Come on, computer. Yeah, 20 million. You should be seeing quite a bit of information there. If you're not, I'm not sure why you wouldn't be seeing it, but you should be, Mark. Jeff, it sounds like you got it. Good. So that's how you use hashtags. I hope that was helpful. My team's probably like, come on, Dave, bring it to a close, man. But I'm going to stick around here, see what other questions you have. Yes, we're still going, Jessica. Yes, Suzanne, we're still going. I see them commenting over here. All right, who wants some of our time? I don't know if we have any spots left. Mindfiremarketing.com/yes. If there's anything we can do to help. If you're still awake in LinkedIn, give me a yes over in LinkedIn if you're still over there. Are you still watching me on LinkedIn? Still watching on Facebook? Alexander, Ali, Alan, Bob, a couple Bobs, Bridget, Kathy, Olivia, Paul, Ryan, you're over here in Zoom. What other questions do you have? Bridget, you have any questions? Rob, any questions? What else can I do to help you? What else can we do to serve you? Has this been helpful to you? Bridget, yes, you say it's been helpful. What stood out to you, Bridget? What's been the most helpful? Tim, Wendy, Wes. Wendy, you're welcome. Thank you. Marilyn, Mark, Lynn. Actually, Linda is here. John, what about you? What's been most helpful to you? John G. Ali says, does training cover LI paid advertising? We touch on it, Ali. But it's mostly organic that we're training you on, meaning how to take advantage of the free organic reach. We do, however, provide LI paid advertising. We can help run paid LinkedIn campaigns. So Ali, if we haven't yet set up a time to talk, if that's something that would be helpful to you, let us know more, and we'll see if that's something we can do to help. If not, we can point you in the right direction. So you have that on the screen, mindfiremarketing.com/yes, Ali, if you want to talk. Rob says, do you have a proven connection request note? Have you tested A versus B? Rob, we test a bunch of different things. I would say, Rob, what works best is a connection note that has some context in it. So as opposed to just saying, hey, I saw your profile, I'd love to connect. I mean, most people say that. Most people actually don't put anything at all. But if you can contextualize that connection note to the reason why you're reaching out to that person, or why you think your connection is meaningful to them, you should be able to get 40% connection rate. What are you getting right now? Do you know, Rob? Bridget says, building a brand image that benefits potential clients, not self-serving. Yeah, Bridget, that's a big one for a lot of people. That was your takeaway. John says, this is all just helping me get out of my shell. Yeah, John, I know the feeling. I know some very, very, very successful folks who, earn $300,000, $400,000 a year, who are just now starting to see the opportunity with LinkedIn. And my word of encouragement to them has been, look, what used to work for you certainly got you this far. But if you want to take that next step, if you want to learn what's around the corner and where attention is now, especially because it's hard to go to trade shows where a lot of business was previously done, LinkedIn provides an opportunity for all of us to continue to up our skill set, up our level of capacity to communicate with our clients. And John, I think I'm encouraged to hear you say that it's been helpful to get you out of your shell. That was one of our goals here, was to just show people what's possible. I'm glad to hear that, John. Mark is saying, I can see the content if I go to the hashtag, but I don't see content directly in my feed. Thank you very much, David. Really appreciate your time. You deserve a tenfold payback. Mark, that is so wonderful for you to say. I really appreciate that. Mindfire team, that's for all of you as well, of course. Thank you, Mark. Very kind of you. Alan says, got to run. No problem. Rob says, I get way more with no note, oddly. More connections accepted with no note, Rob? Interesting. Does the note cross into a pitch? Yeah, Rob, that's one thing that we, again, maybe you test this and you find something different for you. But if you go immediately into the pitch, that turns off. I mean, I think you know this, Rob, you're senior, right? But that turns off a lot of people, especially on LinkedIn. And there's no shortage of people who are going to be pitching you once you reach a certain network size. It may already be happening to you for all I know. Now, there is a little technique. We call it the reverse pitch. for folks in the marketing, the lead generation, sales space, printers that are with us, where when you get those, it's very easy to use what we call a reverse pitch to say, hey, if this method isn't working well for you, or if you want to take it to the next step, I'd love to talk to you more about how you can use direct mail to cut through the noise and the clutter. That's just a silly example, right? But I think you get the idea. So often those that immediately start pitching you, you can actually, in some cases, turn those around and find an opportunity to talk to the director of marketing, director of sales, the CMO, who's obviously telling their people, hey, go out and find clients. You can sometimes find an opportunity there to engage and provide your services. Does that make sense? I know I took it off course a little bit, but Rob is saying, I tend to let my profile provide context. Fine. If it works for you, fantastic. That is great. Okay. Any other questions, comments? What else can we do to help? Suzanne, I'm looking over here at you over in Ring Central. If you have anything else, yeah, Rob, pleasure. Happy to help. Anything else? Wes, Tim, Ryan, Paul, Mike. My team's probably like, Dave, you told me this would be 1 hour and you've held us here how many hours? 2 hours now? You're all here with me still. Bob, Donna, Glenn, Jeff, Lynn, Mark. Anybody else have any other questions? We're here to serve. We're going to follow up with an email. Once the recording has done its thing and has been processed, you'll get a link with that. All of the materials that we promised. Is there anything else? Tim says no questions at this time. All right, folks. Well, I'll pause another 30 seconds or so. See if there are any other questions. I can feel my voice starting to dissipate, and it means it's time to probably draw this to a close soon. But I want to serve you. If there's any other questions that you have, I hope this has been helpful to you. Give me a yes in the chat if this has been helpful. Give me a yes in the chat. Zoom, LinkedIn, Facebook, this has been helpful to you. Thank you to Suzanne. Mark says, have a great weekend. Tim says, yes, has been helpful. Suzanne, thank you for your help. Kushal, thank you for your help. Nicole, Mackenzie, who am I forgetting? Jessica. There's a whole bunch of people here on the Mindfire side. Rob says, very helpful. Awesome. There's Suzanne thanking you all. Okay, folks, I will draw us to a close. Hey, thanks everyone for being here today. I really appreciate you. We've given you a bunch of links. Fred, we'll see you next time. If you have any other questions, you know where to reach me. We're connected on LinkedIn, giving you my cell phone number so you can text. I'm sure you have emails from me. We want to help. All right. So reach out to us. Let us know if we can help. If you don't have time on the calendar yet, mindfiremarketing.com/yes. We can talk further about your unique situation, your business, the things that you want to accomplish, and see if we can help. And with that, folks, I'm going to draw us to a close. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.